All right, let's jump right into it and take a look at what the Miami Heat did this offseason. I'm kidding. They didn't do nothing, but they didn't do much, given that they had little cap space and literally 0 picks. So all they did this summer, they re-signed Dwayne Wade and Udonis Haslem. They re-signed Wayne Ellington. They re-signed Derrick Jones Jr. to a standard deal, as opposed to the temporary 2-way contract he was on. In free agency, they lost Jordan Mickey, whose team option they declined. Like mentioned, the Heat had little cap space to work with after offering long-term deals to Waiters, Olynyk, James Johnson, and Josh Richardson last summer. And there's really nothing to talk about. The team looks exactly like it did last year. Overall, I'm just going to give their offseason grade a B-. There have been recent reports of Pat Riley trying to trade for Jimmy Butler, which is actually probably the most interesting piece of offseason news for the Heat so far. And it's an interesting rumor, to say the least. I'm not quite sure what a deal like that would even look like. Maybe Josh Richardson and Tyler Johnson in a first-round pick for Jimmy Butler. I've played around with the trade machine for like half an hour before making this video, so this actually makes the most sense to me. Although Miami was not amongst one of Butler's 3 preferred destinations as reported by Adrian Wojnarowski, it does actually fit the general mode of a team without a superstar and without a franchise cornerstone, which is kind of what Butler was looking for in saying that he wanted to go to a team like the LA Clippers or a team like the Brooklyn Nets. Since this is only a rumor so far, I'm gonna have to move on and assume that nothing crazy like this happens. Okay, here's Miami's projected roster, or to say it in another way, their roster last season. Last season, the Heat had 3 main injuries to their rotation guys. Rodney McGruder and Dion Waiters both missed the majority of the season, and Whiteside did miss about half the season as well. Dion Waiters being back is going to be interesting. He went out with an injury before the Heat traded for Wade, so he's never shared the court with him yet. Optimistic fans will think back to 2 seasons ago when Waiters went bonkers as the Heat went like 30-10 during the second half of the season. More pessimistic fans will think about how poorly Waiters started off last season before his ankle injury. Dion Waiters is 26 years old, which is actually surprising when I looked that up. I thought he was younger. He still has the chance to get better, but at this point, we know what type of player he is. He's a ball-dominant guard that can create shots for himself, but because of his shot selection, he will never be an efficient player. But that's also where Dwayne Wade comes in. Waiters and Wade are both ball-dominant, slightly undersized shooting guards that don't shoot a lot of threes. Wade, towards the end of his career, has also figured out a bunch of neat tricks to keep his production value high, whether it be his footwork in the post, his pick-and-roll passing, or his pump fakes that everybody keeps falling for. Those are things that could really improve Dion's game. Let's also talk about Whiteside for a bit. His performance in the playoffs against the Sixers was one of the most pathetic, embarrassing, and disastrous things I've ever seen. From a guy who makes $25 million per year and used to talk trash to Joel Embiid. Now, it's uncontroversial to say that Whiteside is way overpaid, especially given the type of money you saw centers get this summer. Just for reference, he's making $7 million more this year than Clint Capella. Just think about that. People have brought into question Whiteside's work ethic, how when he first started with the Heat, he was hungry, and then he got his big deal, and then he got lazy. It's possible. I don't know what his work ethic is. I can only observe the results. The results show me that Whiteside was never worth that much money to begin with, and that he has failed to adapt to the changing environment of the NBA. Perhaps his biggest issue is that he's just way too slow on defense, and that's what separates him from a guy like Clint Capella. He simply can't switch onto perimeter players, and in pick and rolls, he gets burned by quicker guards all the time. Offensively, he takes terrible 15-foot jumpers from time to time, he commits stupid turnovers, he has no idea how to react to double teams. In general, he also has a tendency to sulk whenever things don't go his way, and it visibly affects his effort level on both ends of the court. With the addition of Kelly Olynyk, a very well-rounded offensive player and someone who rarely commits the type of stupid mistakes Whiteside does, as well as the addition of Bam Adebayo, who has much quicker feet and is always giving 100% effort whenever he's on the court, Spoelstra had no choice but to bench Whiteside during crunch time. If there's any good news to come out of this whole Whiteside situation, it's that much of this stuff can be fixed mentally. And although Whiteside will always have trouble against certain matchups, a Whiteside that is putting in effort is still an above average center in the NBA. Just for the love of God, please do not start shooting threes. This Josh Richardson quote better be a damn joke. Anyways, Vegas projections has Miami at 42.5 wins. This is literally the same team as last year, and last year they won 44 games. It seems like Vegas and the general public overreacted to this very uneventful Miami offseason and discounted the advantage of continuity. This is an easy over for me. All right, that was the Miami Heat season preview. We'll see what type of trades they make. Even if this Jimmy Butler thing ends up not happening, there's still a pretty good chance that Miami makes some moves moves at the deadline. But anyways, if you use Twitter and you don't follow me on Twitter, make sure to go follow me on there. Usually I just tweet and retweet some funny stuff I see every day. So go follow me on there if you haven't already. But that's all I got for you guys in this video. Peace!